Hello and welcome to the Manifest to Live Life Golden Show. This is season 2, episode 10, Navigating Negative Emotions to Your Ultimate Advantage. Now, I know I've done a podcast on this before on emotions being energy in motion, but there's things that are coming through for me that are becoming more and more clear. So I want to share what those things are. So, over the past week, I had a really dear friend of mine, who was supposed to go on a vacation to Iceland. And that vacation has been postponed for 3 years because of COVID. And they were supposed to leave tomorrow and found out that their passports weren't right. That you actually have to, and this is good. This is good advice for all of you, that your passport can't expire within 90 days of you coming back. So good to know. Didn't know this. So make sure your passports are always updated. I say make sure your passports are always updated as well, because you never know when a trip is just going to fall into your lap. So we always make sure our passports are up to date in case we suddenly need to leave the country. It's just a good idea. It's a good idea for preparation. And if you're someone who is looking to manifest travel, it's a good idea to have all of your affairs in order so that if travel does pop up, you're ready to go and you don't end up hitting these roadblocks. So I was texting with her, going back and forth. And I think what she came to was that she was kind of over it and she didn't really want to go anymore. And it made me start to think about the levels of disappointment that we go through in life when things don't go our way. And if we are to accept when the energy tells us that we can't do something, that's a very powerless feeling, especially when it's like from a government or from some kind of like paperwork. My feeling is always like, well, let's see what manifests from this. So when you're facing a decision such as this, like, should we keep trying to do this or should we go in another direction? There's a couple of things that are important to keep in mind. One is the energy field is going to tell you what to do. Two is pay attention to your feelings, because if you're feeling super bummed out and you're super disappointed, that is something to be looked at because your desire is really strong to get to wherever you want to go, Iceland, whatever it is. So, in that, I would start researching and I would start looking around for loopholes. I always believe there is a loophole, and I always believe that if I really want something, that I will manifest it happening, and it will happen in an unexpected way. Now, if you are not meant to go, because sometimes the energy does things for us because they have something else lined up that's better. If you're not meant to go, the energy field will not flow for you. So that's why it's really important to watch the energy. I know I have an episode way back, I think in season 1, that's all about watching energy so that you know what to do. Because the thing is, we often try to make decisions based on it not having enough information. We're like, okay, I really want to do this thing and I'm really holding on tight to it, but if it's not working out, maybe there's something else I need to look at. So it's all about looking at your feelings, looking at the energy field, and then deciding what you want to happen next. If you really want to go on that trip, if you really want to manifest something that looks like it's been canceled, you have to stay with the energy field of visualizing and trusting. This is a big trust game, you guys. Trusting that things are working out for you. And that if you are meant to go, if that is in your highest and best interest, that you will absolutely manifest the way to go. You will find a way to make this happen for yourself. So I think what often happens with people, and I'm not putting this on my friend in any means, because I think she came to her own guidance on it, which I love, which is what I teach, is like to go within and find out what's really important to you. But often I think what people do is when something doesn't work out, they let it go. They get super bummed out and then they just say, forget it. I'm not even going to desire it anymore because it's not going to work out. And they just drop it. And when you do that, you're not exactly co-creating. You're just giving it over to circumstances that you feel powerless against. So if you really want to be empowered, stay with the energy of what you want and then watch the energy field for where to go next. And the energy, what I mean when I say watch the energy field, is things will happen. People will say things. You will see license plates, like all different things. You will get signs that tell you the direction that you need to go in. And that is what actually creates manifestation. I had this one thing that happened last year or 2 years ago. No, it was last year. My husband and I went to Connecticut and we purchased tickets on one airline, and they canceled our flight 3 times. They rescheduled it, and it was getting out of control. So we said, "You know what? Forget it. We're canceling with you guys." And the guy that my husband talked to on the phone said, "All right, well, with the return trip, you need to cancel after it already flies," which was the wrong information. So we end up booking another flight on the way home, and then, they wouldn't give us our money back for the other airline. And so I ended up calling. I got someone that wasn't helpful at all. And then I kind of just worked with the energy and what I wanted, writing down what I wanted to happen. I wanted a full refund, no question. And I ended up getting this incredible woman on the phone. And it was funny. I felt the energy open up when I got her on the phone. So I got one person on the phone and ended up disconnecting with them. And I was like, okay, hold on. That's interesting. Like, I wasn't getting anywhere with them and it got disconnected. Called back, got this woman who was incredible, who felt bad for me because they had gone through a hiring thing where a lot of people didn't have the right information. And she got me my money back. And it took like a month. So I could have lost hope. I could have said it's not going to happen. I kept emailing her. I kept, making a connection with her. And finally, we did get our money back. So it's not giving up. It's looking at the energy field and saying everything always works out for me. And this is what I truly want. And then watching when the energy opens up and somebody comes in or you get a sign, look for those signs. They're always there. So another reason I wanted to talk about negative emotion today is because it's a pretty hot topic when it comes to life because we see a lot of people in negative emotion. I see it all the time. And it's so interesting to me that people choose to live out of their joy. In fact, on Fun Friday, okay, Fun Friday is one of these days where we have so much fun. I go out with my friends, we beach, we shop, we lunch, we bike, we do whatever we want to do that day. And we just enjoy each other's company and we have a lot of laughs. We take a lot of silly pictures and we get into an energy field that invites other people in that end up having a lot of fun with us if they're in the right frequency, right? If they're not in the right frequency, we won't connect. So on Friday, it was really weird. We went to a store. The girls were great in the store. And then all throughout the day, we had moments where we could have engaged with people and had fun, and the people weren't having it. Like the whole day, people were just kind of shut down around us. And it was like, what is going on? Is the moon full? Like, what's going on with the planets? Like, you just feel like it's a collective thing. And we were on the beach, and there was a lifeguard, not a lifeguard, but like he looked kind of security like, but he was driving a lifeguard truck. And we were jumping off of these things to take pictures and we were laughing hysterically. And he got out of his truck to go talk to someone. And he was coming back and we were joking around that we should hop in the truck, but we didn't do it. We were just joking around and taking pictures near the truck. And he was really angry with us. And he said, if you got in the truck, it's a problem. And I was like, dude, you live in, like, you are working in the most beautiful place in the world, and you are choosing to be angry and to cast this energy towards us when we are being lighthearted and having fun. And it was really interesting because it's interesting what people will choose. Now, I don't know what was going on in his life, and I send him love and compassion, and hopefully he doesn't treat other people like that, because I think when you're in roles like that, maybe it's easy to be annoyed with people. But the truth is, like, who's losing when you do that? You're losing, and you're losing out on some incredible opportunities to engage with people and have fun and to create more joy. So that was super interesting. Happy Mother's Day. Mother's Day was yesterday, to all of my mamas out there and to all of you that mother in your own special way, whether you have an animal or a stepchild, or you're mothering other people's kids, whatever it is, and whatever way, mothering for me is like a nurturing energy. It's about caring for others. It's about supporting others, and it's about being there for each other. I had an interesting Mother's Day, to say the least. And it started out, it was super interesting. We had plans to go to brunch with my younger girls, and my third daughter actually ended up having to work, and we had reservations where she was working. So we decided we were still going to keep the reservations and have brunch while she was working, and at least we'd be able to say hi and support her restaurant. And we were meeting my cousin, my awesome cousin Aiden, who is just so fun. And we had so many laughs at breakfast. It was so great. He was actually a highlight of my day. But my girls started kind of arguing in the morning, and my one of my daughters came to me and she was complaining about the other one, and we kind of had it and figured it out, and I hugged her and she left, and I was like, okay, we handled that. But that kind of started a little momentum for me, which has happened in the past. And I thought I was more aware of this, but it's progress, not perfection. And that's one of the major messages I want to send to you all today is we are not looking for perfection. Relationships are one of the greatest expanders and the greatest ways that we grow in this life. And we're never going to have it all figured out because people are people and we have wounds and triggers. And so it's progress over perfection. So was it better than some Mother's Days? Yes. Did I have a few moments that weren't so great? Yes. And today I'm doing a lot of reflecting about that. So went to breakfast, had a great time, went for a walk around the boardwalk, around the bay in Dana Point, looking at boats. And we walked with my cousin's dog, who's so cute, and that was awesome. And we saw lots of people, and the sun came out, and we saw some stingrays, and we saw some crabs. And I didn't see any sea lions. I heard them barking, but I did not get to see one. And my daughter wasn't feeling well. So I'm like, all right, well, let's just go home then. So we came home and I was super happy to just lay in the backyard. Now, what was happening was I wanted to go to the beach. Like that's what I really wanted. But with the sun, the marine layer has been really interesting. So in California, we get gray May and June gloom. It's crazy. 2 months of gray weather. Often the sun comes out in the afternoon, but not always at the beach, but always at my house. Like for the most part, we have sun in the afternoon at my house because I'm about 20 minutes from the beach. So it'll burn off here, but a lot of times the layer is still there. So we didn't go to the beach. I laid out in the backyard. It was wonderful. I was laying in the sun, feeling good, relaxing, having a good time. And then my husband came down and made me some lunch. It was very sweet. He was very, very sweet. My husband is amazing and he just surpasses everything that I ever need. So then we were supposed to go for sunset with the girls and we were going to make some chicken wraps and we were going to go to the store and get some stuff. And we decided, okay, there's a marine layer. So what's the point of going to sunset? We're not even going to see a sunset. So I said, well, I'd rather probably be home. Went to the store. My husband and I were doing great. We were having a good time. I thought, okay, this day is like awesome. We're going to go home. We're going to make some dinner. We're going to relax. It's going to be great. And then my daughter came home with some gifts for me. And she was a little off yesterday for sure. And I was dealing with some energies with her that I was working on not grasping. I thought I wasn't really getting annoyed, but I think it kind of ticked away at me all day. And there were things, and there was, that level of expectation. I don't have a lot of expectation around Mother's Days because I have been fooled before. And I've literally had Mother's Days where I gave them a do-over because it was so awful and I was so angry. And so I've given up the expectations. The only expectation I have, which is where I went wrong, I just want peace. I just want everybody to get along. And here's my thing. One day, I just want one day when everybody just gets along. And that's not the way it always works. And that's the expectation that has literally screwed me on vacations, on my birthdays. A lot of times I'm expecting my children to do things that they may not be capable of when it comes to each other because they have an energy with each other. And there's that time of the month, they're girls, these things happen. So that was the expectation I had that I was disappointed about. And my daughter came home and she had gifts for me that she had just gone out and bought. And you guys, you can judge me all you want right now, but what she got for me pissed me off, to be totally honest. And hilariously, after the fact, She said that was karma for my birthday because I bought her presents for her birthday that she didn't want. And she told me and was disappointed right then and there. And we got into a big thing on her birthday. So it was karma, she said, for her birthday, which was pretty funny that she took responsibility for it. So I had sent her a picture the day before, and I don't want presents for Mother's Day, to be totally honest with you. And if you're my children and you're listening, I don't want presents for Mother's Day. Again, all I want is peace, maybe a little acknowledgement, but I know my kids love me. I know they do. I don't need a lot of that outside validation anymore. Yes, I need a happy Mother's Day, a phone call, maybe a post about how much they love me. Like those things feel really good. I don't need presents. Like I don't need any more stuff, basically. And we have shared with this one child that we do not need any more stuff in our house. So she had gotten these gifts and I looked at them. One was a thing for the bathtub. It was like a table for the bathtub, which I haven't taken a bath in a couple of months and I don't really bath. And if I do bath, I don't do things in the bath, but she does. So I looked at that gift and I was like, oh, that was for her. And then she got me these really cute the kitty vases. They're so cute. They're like our kitties. They look exactly like our kitties. So that I was like, oh my God, that's so cute. But she took them and she rearranged a shelf that I already liked the way it looked. So that kind of ticked me off, right? Like this is like the progression of how I'm feeling. So then she made the mistake and I'm working on this bath thing and I'm just like, just let it go. Just let it go. And I'm talking to myself. I am talking to myself and I'm saying, let it go. It's not worth it. If you say you don't like it, your husband's going to get mad at you. Like I knew it. I knew it was coming and it was like a train that I could not stop. So she goes, well, do you like this thing? And I was like, well, I don't really know what I'm going to do with it. And with that, she looks at me with this wounded look and she goes, well, you could put snacks on it. And I was like, well, I don't really eat in the bath. It was just. And with that, she ran upstairs, super upset. And my husband got super duper mad at me. So I got mad at him and I ran out of the house in my slippers, got in my car, and I drove to the ocean and sat there for the next hour stewing and trying to figure out where it all went wrong and what my stuff is in this. So the biggest thing that I came to through all of it was passing blame never helps anyone. And I had a nice talk with her on the phone and we decided we kind of all messed that up and we needed to just do better, be better, right? And so I looked at the expectation of always needing my kids to get along and be in peace and decided that that was the one that I really needed to let go of. Not the expectation, I can let go of all the expectations of having a great day by just deciding that I'm going to be, I'm going to be joyful and I'm going to be grateful of whatever's happening. It doesn't matter. It's just a day. It's a stupid Hallmark holiday. Seriously, like it's one of these things that we get kind of wrapped up in our society, and we allow it to make us feel all different ways. Like if you're a mom and you've lost a child, Mother's Day probably hurts really bad. Or if you're a mom and your kids are not showing up for you, maybe they're teenagers, that's when it was kind of the roughest Mother's Days. Or maybe you lost your mom a few years ago, so Mother's Day really brings that grief up for you. Why are we doing that, right? Like, why are we giving so much meaning to something that really doesn't need to cause us so much heartache? It really can be just another day of joy for us if we decide. So it's all a decision. So where do we grow from here, right? That's what I'm always asking myself. Like, where is my growing edge? What do I need to do? And I'm very blessed and very grateful that I have a family who we are very forgiving. We are very loving. Now, I didn't come from this biologically, just so you know. I didn't learn this anywhere. It's something that I've definitely manifested in my own family, my own girls and my husband. We're very forgiving. We are very loving to one another. And no matter what we do, no matter how much anger we feel, no matter what hurt words we may say, we always come back together. And when, they say when, my daughter actually said this to me once, when emotions are high, logic is gone. Like there's no logic, there's no compassion when your emotions are in a high state. We always say it's not a teaching moment. So when you come back down, you kind of, do your process, which I was doing in my car by myself, listening to music, stewing, texting them, just trying to like process what just happened. we bring ourselves to a place where we can actually create more love, more like a deeper sense of love. So you may feel like your family blow ups and the rages and the times when you feel like you were out of control, you may find that they actually lead to something. They lead to kids hearing you. They lead to behaviors being changed. And I'm not saying that that's the best way to go. It absolutely is not, but sometimes it's just the way it happens. Shit happens, right? And we have to forgive ourselves, we have to move on, and then we've got to use our guidance to do better next time. So, one of the things that I really recognize is we are all doing the best we can. We really are. And my daughter was not feeling good yesterday, and she did the best she could yesterday. And I love her. I adore her. And that's what she kept saying to me. She actually put this beautiful post up on Instagram. If you follow me at Live Life Golden, it was on my story. Beautiful post about how much she loves me. And she just kept saying, Mom, I love you so much. And I was like, oh, okay, yes, I love you too. And like, let's just get back to love. Like, that's so important that we just get back to love. So that's what we did. And today has been a great day. And there's even more love in my house. That's the contrast, right? Of being upset with one another, coming back and being like, I love you and I'm sorry. So emotions are energy and motion. Your negative emotion is indication of a few things. You have something that's triggered that needs to be healed. You have a story that is driving that negative emotion. So when I was talking to my daughter about my other daughter in the morning, I kept saying to her, she's like, she thinks she knows it all and she thinks she has to tell me this. And I said, what if the story was she's just trying to help you? And so that's a different story than this person is trying to tell me what to do. So if you can change the story, you can change the energy around it, and then it manifests as something else. So I said, can you change your story about her? Can you stop thinking the worst of her and start thinking that she really does love you and care about you? She may show it in a weird way and she may say things that don't, feel good to you, but that's a you thing. Like, you have to look at that and you have to say, she's just trying to help me. That's a wonderful story to say when somebody is really giving you advice that you didn't ask for. Um, you are addicted to these emotions. So remember, adrenaline, cortisol, things that make you feel purposeful. Sometimes anger makes us feel purposeful. Sometimes we feel like that person deserves our anger, right? Like sometimes it's so easy to be mad at someone because there's so much momentum. They've done so many things to tick us off that it feels good to be enraged. It feels good to yell. It feels good to be in anger. You feel righteous. You feel justified, right? What are all those things getting you? They're getting you to download cortisol in your system that actually makes you fat. Yeah, It makes your tummy fat. Creates a screwy sleep system. Like, it messes with your sleep. It messes with your reproduction of cells. Like, your regeneration of cells gets interrupted by stress. And that's when cells start to go haywire and you start creating things like cancer and stuff. So you really want to start working on these negative emotions in a more productive way. So this is the perspective that you may have on negative emotions. The fact that we call them negative puts a lot of resistance around them. The fact that we have this field of energy, this field of things that happen inside of us that we call negative, often results in us resisting them. And what the result of resisting negative emotion is, we push them down, then they show up and they're out of control. Or we end up drinking too much or eating too much or getting addicted to things because we don't want to deal with what we're feeling inside. So those are the repercussions. So some of the things we learned growing up: you should be ashamed when you cry. I have a daughter who cries, and I said to her the other day, baby, you're moving energy. Crying is so good. If you can cry, it means you're moving energy. We believe that there's something wrong with us when we cry, that we shouldn't be upset, that we shouldn't be depressed, that we shouldn't feel negative emotions. And the truth is, if you are crying, you are releasing. Now, you can get stuck in that, right? You can get addicted to crying. You can get addicted to sadness. And it's all about frequency. It's what you're tuning into. There's something wrong with you when you are sad. Anger is not tolerated. You were sent to your room. Anger is to be feared or shied away from, especially if you had parents or other siblings that were out of control when they were in anger. You know, if you saw a lot of rage, like out of control rage. Depression needs to be medicated. This is a big one in our society. And what I'm seeing across the board, yes, it may help you. And if it helps you, you disregard what I'm saying. But what I'm seeing with a lot of the kids, because I get feedback from my own young adults, that these medicines aren't necessarily doing a good job and they're kind of making it worse. And then a lot of times what happens is doctors put medicines on top of medicines. In fact, I have a friend from high school whose daughter died from this. She was on anti-anxiety medicine, and I think it was ADHD. I'm not sure what exactly the medicines were, but she ended up dying. So we got to be careful. We got to be really careful with what we ingest in our bodies. And here, I'll put up a link. Some of the things that I really, really condone and I really feel is important is mushrooms. Like, I just feel like there's something to be said. My whole family is on these. And here is my link. There's a discount link here, Shop Real Mushrooms. We take lion's mane, which is really good for your brain. And we take the other one is the Five Defenders. So you can look up, there's Fantastic Fungi on Netflix. There's also Change Your Brain on Netflix. Those are two specials. I know Joe Rogan has a lot of things about mushrooms on his podcast. But I really think that going the natural route, for at least for my family, has really saved us and really created a lot. And we're doing a couple of other things and I'm trying them out right now. So I will definitely let you know how that turns out. Because, you know, we've got young adults who lived through COVID and have a lot of, you know, they're dealing with a lot of emotional backlash from that still. So we're navigating that path. It's not always perfect, you know? All right. You shouldn't feel certain ways. Yeah, that's a good one. You shouldn't feel certain ways. And I remember always saying, like, I feel what I feel and I can't help what I feel. But the truth is you can help what you feel. And if you feel a certain way, it is a window of opportunity to you to find out why you feel that way, where it comes from, where it started. This is the journaling exercises that you want to do to get to the real indications of where you need healing work. So I'll put my Mindful Manifestations Daily Secrets Daily Guide and Journal. You have to put the whole title in Amazon by Golden Duffy to find it. They buried the heck out of it. But this book has the writing prompts and the journaling exercises that I'm talking about that will truly, truly help you. All right. And if it's other people's fault for making you angry, yeah, that's a big one. That's a huge one. And that's a huge one of taking responsibility for your own life and your own feelings and the way that you are navigating relationships. You will always give your power away if you believe it's other people's fault. So you got to stop the blame game and you got to say, where is my stuff in this? Because you are always a contributor to everything that's coming to you. You are the one who dials the frequency. You are the one that sets the tone. So it's up to you. Now, I could look at yesterday and say, oh, you know, she just chipped away at me all day. You know, I was doing good. I was feeling good. My husband and I were like doing great. We kept like re-navigating the path and coming back and, you know, and I think that's why my husband got super frustrated because he tried so hard yesterday to make sure I had a great day. And, you know, he kept reminding me. I mean, we literally got into an argument about her getting a neck tattoo. Like, as a mom, like the neck tattoo, I'm like, get a tattoo wherever you want, just not here up. That's it. That's all I ask my children. They are tattooed up like crazy. My husband and I have no tattoos, like just not on the neck. And she started arguing with me about that. My husband was like, whoa, 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 let's stop. So he really tried. So I give him a ton of credit. I love him so much. I got triggered. He got triggered. You know, no one is to blame other than we got to look at where the energy field was and what I allowed that momentum to start to build on and what frequencies I tuned into. Because when she came home, I was actually making dinner and I was a little, I don't know. I was feeling like somebody should have been helping me make dinner. I don't know. I just went down a bad road and I got out of the car in the bad neighborhood. So I forgive myself. You know, I'm freaking human and I sit here and I'm totally authentic and honest with you guys. I'm not going to tell you my life is perfect. Hell no. If other people would just do what you want, you would be happy. Like if she had just gotten me this little thing that I sent her a picture of, It would have been a totally different night. But she didn't do that. She didn't do that. If you got what you want in life, you would be happy. The truth is, you take yourself with you. So you're not necessarily going to be happy because you take yourself with you. So if you're not happy on the way to it, you're not going to have the frequency of happy when you get there. If you could just move, win the lottery, lay on the beach for the rest of your life, you wouldn't have any problems. And that is absolutely not true because we came here for the contrast. We came here for the expansion and growth. We didn't come here to just lay around and do nothing. We did not. And if you win the lottery and you don't know how to manage abundance, you're probably going to lose it anyways. I've seen tons of shows about that. And if you move locations, you will take yourself with you. So whatever you've created in this location with all of these people, if you're trying to run away from that, you're probably going to recreate it if you don't work on yourself. So where is your growing edge? I ask. Where is my stuff in this is my favorite question. What is this emotion saying to me and how can I use it to my ultimate advantage? How can I use how I'm feeling to clear something, to become to have a stronger desire towards something? I have a strong desire for peace, but my expectation of my children being peaceful on any day does not bring me peace. It usually triggers the crap out of me. So I got to let that one go. What to do when, okay, so this is what you do when you feel intense negative emotions. Ask yourself, do I need to make some changes? Okay, so maybe this thing that I'm getting really upset about, maybe this is calling me to change, like that job that just pisses me off every day I go in there. Maybe it's time for me to look for something new. Maybe it's time for me to set some intentions on the new energy. That apartment that I'm living in with the dog barking all the time, maybe that's like nails in the coffin and I need to look at other places to live. Maybe there's time for me to up level. Do I need to make some boundaries? So often we get ourselves in trouble because we don't have boundaries with people and we just give and give and give. And then we think that they need to thank us or be grateful or whatever. And the truth is, we're over giving in that situation. So we will always come up short. Often we're giving to get love. And that's not a great way to give love, to give. It really isn't. So do I need to make some boundaries? Do I need to stop giving so much to people that are not exchanging energy with me? Does something need to heal? Is this something from my childhood? Is this feeling of powerlessness connected to a wound that I have from long ago? Is there a new story I can tell that doesn't drive this wounded energy? So the thought that I had yesterday and that I was so upset about was, why can't my daughter recognize today and show up for me? That was the thought that I had. And the truth is, it's just a silly little holiday that Hallmark came up with to drive flowers, right? Cards and flowers. So I don't need that day to be anything. And I've come to that awareness before, but hello, this is another level. Am I taking my eyes off of love and forgetting who this person is? I definitely did that. Took my eyes off love, started to think the worst, started to think she's selfish, which, young adults, teenagers, we want them to regard themselves, right? Like that's what I've taught my girls to do, is to regard themselves, to listen to their own inner guidance. Am I taking my eyes off of love for myself by allowing this negative emotion to ruin my time here, right? Like whenever we're on a family vacation and somebody says something and somebody else isn't happy about it, what am I going to do with that? Or years ago, we rented a beach house in Newport and my daughter got invited to go on another trip with a friend that was an incredible experience, like a great opportunity. And so she wasn't with us. So the whole time I could have been like, she should be here. And instead I decided to let that go because that would ruin this moment. And she's not here. So she's not supposed to be here. Am I giving my power away? So healing from your negative emotions, sit down and journal about it and see if it's showing up in other areas of your life. Decide if it's just a connection to a wound that drives a story you no longer want to participate in. I don't want to participate in the story that my kids have to get along for me to feel good because I'm going to lose. They're people, they're children, they're young adults, and they have their own energies with each other and own frequencies with each other, and they're going to figure it out. I don't need to fix anything. They will figure it out. The less I am involved in that, the better. See if you are projecting. Are you projecting an old relationship onto your new one? Okay. Are you projecting an old relationship onto your new one? So are you projecting in some ways and thinking, oh, this is happening to me again? Thinking the worst about your new relationship because of the way your old partner was? Look at that. Take a look at that, because if you're doing that, you're not responding in new ways that's going to create new things for you. You're in a cycle and you don't want to be in the cycle. So you have to respond differently to this new person and give them the benefit of the doubt of being someone else and not your old partner that didn't work out. Decide how you want to feel and connect with the thoughts that drive the new and better feeling stories. So for my daughters, my story is everyone is doing the best they can. I said that to my daughter earlier that day. Your sister's doing the best she can. This is the best she can do. And I know it may not feel good enough, but it's the best she can do right now in the way that she feels today. I will think the best of those I love. So when you start going down a road of getting ticked off at somebody, if I had had that thought earlier in the day, I will think the best of those I love, I would have probably been better off. But again, I forgive myself. I will drop my unreasonable expectations so I am not disappointed again and again. Hello, that's a cycle. Not everyone is capable to love to the capacity that I can. I remind my children of this often because we do have a depth of love in our family and we do really support one another. They are often disappointed by society as a whole. So I just say to them, a lot of people just don't have the capacity to love the way we do. They don't know love the way we do. So it's kind of letting people, it's understanding that people come from the love that they know, and often they can't show up for us because they don't know the love that we are able to give. People are people and do things for their own reasons that have nothing to do with me. That's not taking things personally. I don't need to make this about me. I am free from stories that don't serve my joy. I choose peace because I am at peace within. Meditate to reset. Be honest with yourself. Like if you're just telling yourself like a story that isn't being really honest about the way you feel and about your role in this, I had to be really honest about my role in this, and there was a moment there where I was blaming my husband and he was like, "You're not going to put this on me." And I was like, "Okay, well, I got to take responsibility, but so do you." Like we were both triggered, right? Like we both have to take responsibility for that trigger. Trust in your guidance and get curious and inquire within. Stop asking the peanut gallery what they think. This is often what we do when we have issues and we have challenges in relationships. We start asking everybody else. And this is what you have to keep in mind. Even a therapist, even an energy worker, anyone like that, everyone is coming from their own story, from their own wounds. So you have to take advice with a grain of salt, and you always have to take that advice within and see how it feels in your inner guidance. Just because somebody said it and it sounds kind of good doesn't mean it's going to work for you in your relationship, because they don't know where you're coming from and they don't know, they're coming from a set of wounds and a set of energies that might not align with what you want to create. So keep in mind and trust in your inner guidance, because that's the most important thing. So, relationships are something that are going to call us to expand and grow always in every single way. And if we're up for it, if we're up for the challenge, now we've got to have a strong foundation to be up for these things, right? I have a super strong foundation. Did I meditate yesterday? No, I did not. That might have helped, right? So meditation is for the reset, but I'm a super aware person and it still happens. This still happens because there is no perfection. It's just progress. So use your relationships to clarify, to heal, to do your own inner work, and you will actually create a greater depth and a richness with people where you love each other even more. I will say we woke up this morning valuing each other more, loving and respecting each other more, and understanding that we are all on this journey and nobody's perfect. Nobody's supposed to be perfect. All right, here is my link for my meditation teaching. livelifegolden.com. That's the meditation teaching. I think it's like $47 if you've never meditated. It's called Keys to the Kingdom. I give you a little guided meditation and a little thing there. And I do not have my YouTube channel up here, but my YouTube channel is at Manifest to Live Life Golden, just like this podcast. And I want to start drawing people over to YouTube because I may stop using the podcasting platforms. I'm not sure. Like that's kind of where I'm feeling like everything needs to be on YouTube. So I create a greater subscribership there because that's where I want to focus my energy and attention. So please go to my YouTube channel, subscribe, like, share. That would be amazing. If you do this for me and I see it up there, email me at livelifegolden@gmail and let me know, hey, I just subscribed to your YouTube channel and I will send you a very special self-love meditation. It is amazing. It's one of my greatest meditations. So livelifegolden@gmail. Let me know that you subscribe to my YouTube channel and then start liking the videos, start getting me some energy on there. That would be flipping amazing. Tomorrow I will be on the Golden Hour on E360 TV. If you search Achieve TV, the Golden Hour pops up. I'm also on YouTube with that. It goes live on YouTube at noon Pacific tomorrow. I'm going to be discussing this broad scope of emotions, not just negative emotions. So it's going to be the emotional field in general and how to use emotions to create the energy of what you truly want. So that'll be a little bit more of an in-depth discussion on this. And if you didn't catch my show last week with Coach Luke, it was a fire. It was an igniter, we'll call it. Yeah, he lit a fire under my ass. I've been at the gym every single day, kicking my ass, building muscle and doing what I say I want to be. So Coach Luke was amazing. And then my Thursday show is going to be incredible. I have a Brazilian supermodel. Now, he used to be a Brazilian supermodel, and he is now an artist, an incredible artist, a graphic designer, a screen printer. He is an all-around super duper interesting guy, very aware, very awake, and we are going to exponentially grow with him. So that'll be Thursday at noon Pacific with Zahn. His name is Zahn. Yeah, he's super cool. Super excited about that. So I got a lot of good stuff coming up. I am freaking excited. Manifestations have been off the charts. I actually manifested a trip to Vegas. I manifested a free place to stay. I manifested a coaching seminar. I mean, so many things are happening, so many good things, so many good people are showing up. And that's what happens when you put your frequency in the right place, when you just keep going, you keep creating, you keep expressing, and you keep trusting in the universe to co-create with you. And you say yes. You say yes to life. I have a lady coming up in June who actually gets people to really look at death so that you can really live your life, like really get honest about death. Oh my God, she's going to be amazing. I have so many amazing guests for you guys on the Golden Hour. So check out the Golden Hour if you haven't yet. You get to see me like 3 days a week. How cool is that? All right. I love y'all. Peace out.